Happy Sunday. I'm aware I do look like a Trader Joe's employee, so bear with me at this sensitive time. But what I was really going for was queer. So, like, tell me if it reads that way. Okay, I am in a little bit of a funny mood. I don't have too much time to make a video, but I do kind of want to talk about, without sharing too much of my current personal circumstances, because that's something that I feel like are good to reflect on in hindsight, and I feel like they're too fresh to speak on right now. But I guess I just want to kind of share a little bit of insight on like what kinds of big decisions you can make in your life, or like choices that you make, and like how they can alter your life path so drastically, and like the emotions that they come with, and how like some of those emotions can be conflicting ones. But like, this week I had to make two really big decisions that, like, you know, cut cords that are going to completely change my life path. And that's really scary. And I want to kind of speak on the feeling of fear, because I think that that is one of the best feelings you can feel before you're hitting a moment of like transformation. And I think, like, if you know it's happening, like if you are in touch with yourself enough, you can so easily like feel that impending change within your spirit. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in tune enough with yourself, like, life doesn't just pass you by. Life doesn't just like happen and like you hit a new milestone and then you just like keep coasting through it. Like, if you're in tune enough with yourself, like, things happen and you pay attention to them and you like note them and you recognize them and acknowledge them for all that they are, whether they were a difficult time in your life or a really positive one in your life. But either way, they promote growth, they promote like self fulfillment over time, because you start to realize you can overcome things. And so, like, this week was a really fearful week for me. And like, before I even had to face these things head on, I was feeling like weeks of anxiety that were eating me up. And there's a time and place for things, right? So like, these things I had to face, I was just kind of working up the courage to face. And when you rip off that band-aid, when you have those hard moments where you have to face the reality and really acknowledge life for what it is, then you realize, like, oh, I can do it, and I can overcome this moment, and everything will be okay. I don't have all the answers right now, but everything will be okay. And that is really what I had to challenge myself with this week. And that's what's so hard about being a self-aware person. And if you're seeing this, maybe you can relate. Like, maybe that is something that speaks to you as well. But like, when you're a really self-aware person, when you are being challenged with an obstacle or a moment in life that's trying to test you, you know that that's exactly what's happening. You literally will look at it and be like, this is just an obstacle and I'm just having to, the only way out is through. And like, anyone else in life who hasn't come to that awareness will see obstacle and feel a victim to it. But like, in these moments where I know that I'm going to have to experience fear and pain and anxiety and all the other emotions that humans can feel, I just remember, like, okay, when I get through it, it's going to feel better. Even saying that, like, literally feels so relieving, because it's like, when you're holding in what you know is the truth for yourself and your path, you feel like you're carrying weight. And it's like as soon as you just say it, it's like you can just breathe again. You feel genuinely lighter. And like, of course, when you're carrying baggage around, it feels lighter once you release it. But it's like you don't realize how much it like dims the light of your spirit when you're carrying in things that are protecting potentially other people and not living for yourself. And like that is what I think a lot of fear humans experience really stems from. Like it's the fear of not making other people happy, the fear of being a burden to other people, the fear of not being successful to the people that matter to us, the fear of like holding the weight of other people's emotions. And like that's something that I know I feel in life, and I think that a lot of like people, but especially like women and queer people, feel so much more of, because we're constantly trying to adjust ourselves to appease others' expectations of us. And so this week, like I had to make decisions that were ultimately for my greater good. And while that is inherently could be looked at as a selfish choice, because those things could impact people in a way that maybe is hurtful to them or disappointing to them, or maybe something they can't understand quite at this moment. I know in my soul that if I don't listen to what's best for me, then that's not going to be what's genuinely best for them, right? And so I want to speak on that, because that's something that I think could motivate other people to like maybe have a little bit more self-reflection in what they really want in life, and like what is really inspiring you to keep pursuing yourself, you know? Like when you feel something's missing, or when you feel that you yearn for more, like really go get curious with that and dive into what that looks like for you. Like I know that's all I'm saying in these videos. I'm just repeating that over and over again, but it's like I'm repeating it because it's like I'm living it right now. Like I'm walking alongside you as another human individual who's experiencing their own set of circumstances, and like we can still find some relatability there, because I know that we all have important decisions to make every single day. And like for me, that is like huge ones at this current moment in my life. And once those things settle, they will become more minute decisions on a daily basis until it takes an uptick again, and I am faced with bigger decisions and facing life paths. And like that's what we do, you know, that's how we evolve. And so I just feel like sharing that is important, because like I'm still going to be in the midst of feeling the pains of the decisions I had to make this week, but I know that on the other side of that pain is going to be like so much harmony in my life, and so much self-discovery. And like that's so exciting to continue to get to know myself. Like we don't just stop. And like I guess you can if you'd like to, but that gets kind of boring after a while. So keep discovering yourself, keep making decisions that promote your self growth and opportunity for more, and just constantly finding out what you like and what you want and what you love and what inspires you. Like it's so simple at the end of the day, but putting to practice is so hard. And so I know that fear can make you turn away from facing the challenge. But the more you practice challenging yourself, the easier it gets, because you realize that you are resilient, and that builds confidence in your ability to continue pushing forward and to continue. Like, when you face one challenge that seems really hard, you get through it, and then you face the next challenge in life and that one's even harder, but then you get through it. Like, that is so amazing to show yourself. So give yourself the opportunity to feel uncomfortable and to just test what it feels like to be challenged a little bit more, you know? So I could stay in the comfort of what feels familiar to me and in my bubble of what is known. But I also know that it's kind of boring doing that. And I also know that I've only hit I hit a certain amount of fulfillment in that, and I am seeking more now. And so while it's comfortable to just stay like this because I could just stay like this, I do know that there's a deeper part of me that is seeking more abundance. So why wouldn't I make those decisions to achieve that if I deeply feel that in my soul, that that is actually what's going to promote the most sense of fulfillment in my lifetime? You know? Keep pursuing yourself, keep pursuing your passion, keep pursuing what brings love and harmony into your life, because even though we look at pain and fear as these really negative emotions, the other side of them is so great and trumps the temporary feeling of sadness, loss, disappointment, whatever kind of pain it is that you're feeling. You know, we go through those things to gain more on the other side. We don't just go through things just to suffer and not gain anything afterwards. You have to look around you and see where you are actually gaining from your experiences, even if they're negative ones, because I promise you that there's lessons in those as well. So, I was feeling in a silly goofy mood, but I always get into my little spiels and I always get a little too deep, but I wanted to keep that a little bit more short and sweet because I don't have that much time, but I just wanted to put a little food for thought out there, you know, like share where I'm at, because I know that many of you can relate, because we're all going through things. We all can relate by sharing our experiences, even if I'm not being that clear on what it is I'm experiencing. And those are things that I'll speak on later, you know, like as I get more comfortable with sharing more of my personal life. But like, I don't really need to even dive into that too much to share with you something that's important, you know? Like, I can share with you what I'm experiencing and still be vague, and you can do the same thing with other people. We are all just going through difficult things, amazing things, exciting things, challenging things. We're all just going through things, and so share it, you know, speak on it, talk to each other. That's how we build community. That's how we show love to one another. Listening and speaking to one another is love for one another, because we find human connection, and that is what heals us. So I'm going to keep saying that over and over and over again, but you know, we are all, you know, if it's not fucking society tearing us down and creating pain, it is just the natural pain that we face in life, because life is never easy for anybody. We all go through hard shit, and we all have the ability within us to humanize each other enough to hear each other out, because my pain is not your pain and yours is not mine. We all experience different things. We all go through hardship and obstacles, and giving each other grace and listening is what's going to promote happiness overall. So, and also validate your experience. Like, you can be going through something that's maybe not as hard compared to somebody else, but like, still validate yourself and still realize and recognize like where you are growing from that experience. Okay? So, happy Sunday. I'm super excited about where things are going for myself. And then like, I'm, you know, going to eventually, when it feels right, whenever it feels right, also feel the sadness within those things. But I also know that life is exciting if you make it to be. And that's the only thing that's going to make your life as exciting is pursuing yourself. So love yourself enough to do that, especially in these hard times. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and thank you for listening. Bye.